So to start this, I am going to create a marinade for the chicken that I'll be using. So here in a glass bowl, I'm going to add an egg whites from a large egg right into the bowl, a 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder, and a 1/4 teaspoon of white pepper. And when I do a lot of like Chinese takeout style recipes, my marinades vary, and so do the batters and breadings when I fry them up. So you can check out some of my other recipe videos if you go to my YouTube channel page. I have a section there for that. So now I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, low sodium soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of Shaoxing cooking wine. If you don't have this particular brand of cooking wine or this type, then you can just use what you have on hand. Now I'm also going to add, let's see here, I think I'm going to do I'll do 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. I'm going to give that a mix and try not to make a mess. So here I have sliced pieces of chicken breast. Typically, in a lot of like chicken recipes for Chinese takeout style recipes, chicken thighs, boneless, skinless chicken thighs are used or preferred. So you can definitely do that, but I'm using 1 pound of sliced chicken breast. I'm going to add it right into my marinade. And I'm just going to give it a really good mix, combine it well. And then I'm going to set aside and let it marinate. I'll put it in the fridge. I'll cover it, put it in the fridge, let it marinate for at least 30 minutes, 20 if you're really pressed for time. But I think 30 minutes should do the trick. So what I'm going to do, let's put this over there and just make a mess. I'm going to take my chicken pieces and just dredge it in the cornstarch. Shake it off, and I'm going to place it on my baking pan. And I'm going to repeat the process until all of my pieces are coated. You could probably do this like in a bag, give it a shake, and coat all your pieces, but I just like to make things difficult for myself. Okay, so I'm just going to continue till all of my chicken is coated. Okay, so all of my chicken is coated, and I'm just going to let it set here until my fry oil comes up to temperature. I will be frying my chicken pieces at a fry temperature of 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and I will be double frying. So for this first fry, I'm going to fry it for a minute or 2 and then scoop it out and then let the temperature come back up to temp again and then put it in there for another fry. That's going to give me crispy pieces. You do not have to do that, but texturally, if you're going to serve this, then you know double frying kind of helps maintain the crunchy texture to the coating. And if you want to check out my older video for General Tso's Chicken, that one I used pretty much anything anything I had in my fridge to come up with the sauce, but I did do a wet batter to that one, and the texture of that is also a little different than what I'm doing today. It's just another way to make it. So I'm going to start frying these pieces. I'm going to fry these in batches, by the way. I've got my pieces in here, and I'm going to let these fry for a minute or 2. It shouldn't take that long. It also depends how thick you cut your pieces of meat. If they're in chunks, well, the cook time's probably going to be a bit longer. And if you're working with super cold meat, that also makes the cook time vary. So now I'm going in for the double fry. So here is my double fried chicken pieces. I already tried one. Oh, it's so good. So now I'm ready to get this sauce going, and I'm almost done. Okay, I'm going to make, this is going to be the sauce for this, or the slurry to create the sauce. So here I have 4 fluid ounces or a 1/2 cup of low sodium chicken broth. I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of Shaoxing cooking wine, low sodium soy sauce and 1 teaspoon of dark soy sauce. The dark soy sauce is really going to give it that deeper, darker color. But if you don't have it, I say that's optional. I'm also going to add 1 teaspoon of sugar. Give that a mix. And at this point, mix it, dissolve the sugar, and give it a taste. If you think it needs to be sweeter or saltier or just adjust it altogether, you want to just create the balance of flavors that you prefer. I've mixed this and I gave it a taste. I actually think I want this to be slightly sweeter, so I'm going to go in with another teaspoon of sugar. And before I forget, I am going to be adding 2 teaspoons of rice vinegar. Let me start with 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. I think a tablespoon and a half should do the trick. And I'm going to give that a mix. And this is going to be the sauce slurry that will thicken once I place it into my pan. So I'm going to add a little bit of that fry oil back into my pan. Now what I'm going to do is add a teaspoon of ginger paste, or fresh ginger if you've got it, mince it finely. 2 teaspoons of garlic paste. Things are going to get kind of fast from this point. The scallions, or the whites of 2 scallions. Gonna give that a quick saute. I'm also adding half of a tablespoon of sambal. That is a chili paste. If you do not have sambal, maybe add a 1/4 teaspoon of crushed red pepper flakes. If you do not have that, if you've got gochujang, sometimes I just toss in gochujang to add a little bit of color and spice to this. I'm gonna let that saute. Give this a mix. Remember my little sauce here. By the way, I added a little extra low sodium soy sauce. I will be putting all the measurements and ingredients that I use today in the description below. And I did have to adjust some things. So right into there. And at this point, I do want it to get thick and simmer, so I'm going to crank up the heat. And once it starts to simmer, you'll see that it's going to start to thicken. I'm going to give this a stir, and I'm actually going to add just a little splash of that dark soy sauce. And that's it, you guys. That's my, I guess this would be my simplified version of General Tso's compared to my last video. Okay, I'll tell you what, I am going to just add my little, maybe a teaspoon of sesame oil. Give that a mix and coat the chicken. And coat them into the sauce, and then I'll plate it up. Okay, so here it is. It looks perfect. So now I'm just going to garnish with a little bit of scallions on top. And that, my friends, is my updated version of General Tso's chicken. And I'm gonna give it a try. I hope you give this recipe a try. I hope you like it, and thanks for watching.